I just want to thank you all I'm very glad to have this great panelists and great, very powerful, informative stories. Um, I mean, it's so much. I have everything all scripted, but I figured let me just actually start from the deepest of my heart that what we're facing today is unprecedented. And for those of us who has been in the struggle for years, this is not a surprise. It's not a surprise, when we talk about white supremacy, when we talk about the social economic system, when we talk about the caste system, and unfortunately, as a Latino, as a Latino, I have to recognize that my Black brothers and sisters are being incarcerated throughout this nation. They're being killed. They're being exterminated throughout this nation. At this point, anybody who still denies, who still tries to, you know, talk about like, well, it's we have a little bit of this and we understand. At this point, you are sadly mistaken. You are blind. And I think today, what we have today is that we have to come up with a solution to continue this fight. As Aislinn pointed out in her speech, that we all have made some progress, but that's only because we have put these politicians' feet to the fire. Make no mistake, you know, as Mark clearly stated, politicians are not there to actually really, come to you with changes. They're there, in many ways to serve the corporate, to serve their masses, which is those in power. We, Blacks, Latinos, Asians, people of color, you know, all Black and white working class throughout this nation, we have to come together, but we have to recognize and we have to be true of those that's dividing and conquering throughout this nation. That's the only way we can actually push forward. Tia, spoke about Breonna Taylor and about raids. And unfortunately now, given the political climate that we're in right now, it's just going to escalate more, far more than we could ever imagine. This is a fascist, and we have become a fascist state. And I'm not overstating. This is not a hyperbole, but these are actual facts. If you look at history till now, this is an ongoing struggle. And how I actually started to get involved was actually more than 10, 15 years ago. But at the tipping point for me was I witnessed something myself around my neck of the neighborhoods. And what I saw in 2015, I myself was apprehended and I was held down to precinct 4 because I tried to record, which I saw was two individuals, teenagers, being brutally arrested. And I'm not talking about detained. There's a difference between being detained and being, um, it's and actually really being down, thrown against the wall. I mean, people has this kind of like bizarre way of thinking. And then while I try to take out my camera and try to record the incident, before you know it, I was actually surrounded by 6 and 7 police officers. Now, I will be lying to you if I say I wasn't scared. I was very frightened. But these gentlemen, they had an objective. And the objective was like they don't want nobody filming. They don't want nobody recording. They don't want no documentation because that will go against their fascistic way point of view. That would actually mess up, the entire system, the whole policing system, the militarization system that we're in right now. I sue because I'm actually from New Jersey, and I actually sued the West New York, which is the town I live in, the West New York Police Department, along with the ACLU, and we won the case.
Mm.
And though they kept on postponing the court, and they tried to flip it and try to change their version of the story because I was arrested because of obstruction of justice, and that I was intervening, that I was actually in many ways verbally abusing. Can you believe that? Verbally abusing armed police officers. Now I'm only 5'4". I only weigh 140 pounds. How much damage can I personally do? really. These guys, you have to see, they're over 5'9", 5, some guys is over 6'1", over 200 pounds. We have to understand that if we have to continue, if we are going to continue, and we should, and we have to continue, this should be different type of strategy. As technology keeps advances, we live in a very highly sophisticated surveillance state in the world. Social media is great, but because of the pandemic, that's the only platform and other social media outlet we can use right now. So we have to kind of find other strategic way of actually how to, you know, um, tackle these issues, how to hold these police accountable, you know. And as Mark clearly points out, we have to hold these politicians to us accountable. It shouldn't be just the police officers, because who are they serving, the police officers? These Wall Street banksters or gangsters. Who are they really serving? They're not there serving, to protect Aislinn or Tia or Mark. They're there to serve the corporate. They're there to protect property. And I'm very tired of, these so-called, very petty bourgeois liberal politicians that keep on talking the same narrative that, we feel your pain, we understand, but yet very little is being done. This is years in the making. Let's not forget the Black Lives Matter protests rise up during the Obama administration. This is truly something that we have been tackling and facing historically. Look at the indigenous population, systematically wiped out. And even now, and I think as Andrew pointed out, and Aaron, about the COVID-19 and the spread, it's just going to get worse. It's up to us. The test is up to us. The test is on us, how to unite, how to find new strategies. And what I mean by strategy, we cannot go to the same 40+ year strategy, because what was effective maybe 40 years ago is no longer relevant today. We have to continue fighting. We have to continue pressuring these politicians. We need to hold these cops accountable. No questions asked. We have to continue to hold these cops accountable. They need to be locked up, and not only just fired, that they can no longer be police officers in any state. And that's pretty much all I have to say right now. And again, I want to thank everyone who's actually here on this, today, and all my listeners and all my brothers and sisters who's watching this. Please continue the fight. It's not easy. We're living in very extraordinary, difficult times, but we have to keep pushing. We have to. And I end there. Thank you.